So let's review what we've been saying by looking at this sentence. The dog ate my homework. Now that's a common excuse that kids use, right? Where's your homework? The dog ate my homework. Now everyone understands what I'm trying to say because I've expressed a complete thought in a way that makes sense. But let's review. Why does this group of words make complete sense? Why does everyone understand what I mean when I say the dog ate my homework? Here's why. My sentence has a subject, the dog. The subject is who or what I'm talking about. Every sentence has to have a subject. But I didn't stop there. Imagine if I had just said the dog. You would think that I was crazy. The dog, the dog, the dog. It just doesn't make sense by itself. No, I have to tell you something else about the dog. I have to complete my thought by telling you what the dog did or is doing, or what the dog is, was, or will be. In any case, I have to have another group of words in this sentence that completes my thought about the dog. So here's my key idea. This group of words that tells you about the subject's action or condition is called the predicate. What's it called? It's called the predicate. So I told you what the dog did. The dog ate my homework. That's what he did. And my subject is the dog. You see that? So now when I put the subject, the dog, together with the next section, ate my homework, you can finally understand what I'm trying to say. So I have the subject, and I have my next section here, ate my homework, and you can finally understand what I'm trying to say. The dog ate my homework. So you see, in English, you have to have a subject and a predicate, two parts of the sentence, in order to make complete sense. Here's our summary then. Every sentence has to have two sections, a subject section and a predicate section. So you see that every sentence has to have two sections. A subject section, which tells others who or what you're talking about, and another section which completes the thought about the subject. The section that completes the thought about the subject is called the predicate. Now, sometimes this predicate or completer section doesn't tell others about the subject's action. Instead, it tells others more about the state or the situation or condition of the subject. So this predicate or completer section either describes the subject's action or it describes the subject's situation, state, or condition. Let me repeat that. The predicate, or what can be called the completer section, either describes the subject's action, something the subject is doing, or it can describe the subject's situation, state, or condition. In any case, it gives me more information about the subject. So simply put, every sentence must have a subject and a predicate in order to create a complete thought. And that's a very powerful understanding, a very simple idea, but that is the core of English. And in fact, it's true in every language, I would think. You have to have a section that explains what you're talking about, and a section that explains what you're saying about your subject. Now, the order is going to be different in which it's put in some languages, but this is the core element in English. Let's look at some examples. John jumped into the river. Well, here the subject is John. I'm talking about John. So John is the subject of my sentence. Well, but it's not enough. If I just said John, no, what did John do? John jumped into the river. You see, the predicate of the sentence is jumped into the river, because that section of the sentence tells me what John did. That section completes the thought that I started when I said John. Let's look at another example. John is nice. Well, who is the subject? The subject is John. I'm talking about John. What am I saying about John? I am describing John. I'm saying that John is nice. John is not doing something now. John is being something. I'm describing John. And remember, we said that the predicate section must complete the sentence with a thought that shows what the subject is either doing or being. In other words, a thought that describes the situation, state, or condition of the subject, or tells me what the subject is doing. So the phrase is nice here. This phrase is nice. That's my predicate section. Forms the predicate of the sentence. Notice that John is not doing something. He is simply being something. So some predicates have action words and some have being words, or words that describe the state, condition, or situation of the subject. Now we have a name for these action or being words in the predicate. We call them verbs. We also have a name for the words that name the subject. We call these naming words, or nouns, or pronouns. And we'll be looking at them in depth in our next lesson. But let's go back now and let's review subjects and predicates. The subject section says someone or something. Someone or something, I'm talking about someone or something, is doing something or being someone or something. So my predicate section says that the subject is doing something or being someone or something. And that's a good review of subjects and predicates. Now, this exercise I'm going to leave for you to do, and you can complete each sentence by adding a subject. We'll do that before we move on to our next section, which is going to be nouns and verbs. But let's summarize and review. A sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. Every sentence has a subject and a predicate. The subject section is where the words tell who or what the sentence is all about. In the predicate section, the words tell a story about the subject. In the predicate, words can tell us things like what the subject is doing or feeling, or what the subject is thinking. In the predicate, we can learn where the subject is, or what the subject looks like, or if the subject is happy, or sad, or good, or bad. Every sentence tells us a story about something or someone.